Alright, what's up everybody? It's guubums again, and I'm just coming back to show you the new best legends after the newest update. So, if you've been paying attention at all, Ezreal got nerfed in the C patch, along with some comps such as Ionia and Azir, or Azir Lux rather. And pretty much after the Ezreal nerfs, a lot of the legends are actually a lot more balanced. So you'll find that there's like a lot more options you can choose from. Pretty much right now, there's no consensus on what the best legends are, but I just want to give like a quick rundown on some of the most played ones at high elo, and hopefully you guys can kind of like take this and use it in your own games. So coming in at like number 5, or I don't even know what number we're going to be at, but the first one I want to talk about is Poro. If you watch any streams right now, especially the NA players, you're going to find that a lot of people are playing Poro. Pretty much, if you're playing Poro right now, it's just saying that there are certain augments that you never want to skip, like for example, long distance pals, or like certain augments that like just really give you a lot of directions, like Noxus Crest. And if you pick Poro, you just have the highest chance to find those augments. Another thing is that like, even though it's not like explicitly true, you'll find that if you pick, for example, I don't know, Ornn, you're actually seeing 4 augments instead of 6 augments a lot of the time, just because you'll be oftentimes a little bit too scared to reroll your Ornn augment, because obviously part of the reason why you pick your legend is to have like an option to fall back on should you ever, you know, low roll your other options. But whereas with Poro, you'll often find yourself like rolling all 3, so you actually see 6 augments. And a lot of times, those 2 extra augments that you see are actually like really, really relevant. So yeah, Poro is probably one of the better ones right now. I don't think it's actually number 5. It's probably like top 2 or 3. But if you're comfortable with playing the game right now at all, Poro's always going to be like a good choice. The next one I'll talk about is Ornn. If you know anything about like the first patch, you'll know that like I played Ornn pretty much every single game for like 200 games straight because I thought it was the best. I still currently pick Ornn, not because that, like, I do think it is the best, kind of, but I'm also just used to playing it already. So I don't know, Ornn's always just like a good option to pick. These 2 are still pretty good. Forge got buffed, but it's still pretty bad. I would try to avoid these. And then like these 3 are still pretty good, and then these 3 are all still pretty good. So it's just like a really consistent one. It's probably not like easily the strongest one anymore, but because of how consistent it is, I really like playing around Ornn. The next one I want to talk about is, I'll talk about Aurelion. So okay, Aurelion, if you've been paying attention to like high elo games, or maybe like games in like CN region or other regions, you'll notice that Aurelion has been picking up a lot more steam. So actually towards the end of pre-patch, so during the B patch still, I was playing a lot of Aurelion and I thought it was actually really strong. I think after the patch, it's actually slightly weaker just because a lot of the reroll comps actually tax your HP in the early and mid game. Maybe not so much the early game, but definitely in the mid and like mid to late game, you get taxed on your HP a lot. So like using this to like aggressively jam levels is just not going to be that consistent, because obviously sometimes you're just going to be at the mercy of the units you find in your shop as well as the mercy of matchmaking. You just don't really want to fight like, for example, the Z2 when he like on 3-2, or like the Z3 when they hit on 4-2, 4-1. Same with like Noxus. Oftentimes, like even if you get a really strong level 8 or level 9 board, you can actually lose to like Zed and Noxus, which are obviously 2 of the best comps right now. So I will caution you against this a little bit, but I do still think it's really strong. And just very quickly on how to play it, the main one you're looking for on 2-1 is going to be level up. If you get level up, so 10% prismatic, you're going to be in a really good spot. And then you just want to aggressively go level 9 and just try to play around the 5 cost. I know a lot of like lower elo players right now, or even like maybe some like GM players and lower, I don't really know if like Challenger feels this way, but I know they think that like the 5 costs are really weak, but in fact a lot of the 5 costs are actually like omega broken. So don't trust Reddit, I guess. The 5 costs are really strong. Stop asking more to buff the 5 costs, because we really don't want a turbo fast 8 fast 9 like 5 cost meta. It's just not good. I don't know, the 5 costs are very strong. So pretty much if you get level up, you go level 9 and you just play around the 5 costs. The carries are going to be Dinger, Belveth, and Ari, and you want to play around those, and then you just want to fill up your front line with like upgraded 4 costs and certain 5 costs such as like Scion. Obviously the Rise, depending on like which region it is going to be really strong. But yeah, that's pretty much how you play Asol. You do almost 99% of the time, I would say, ignore the 3-2 augment. These 3 are all really quite bad. I think Prismatic Knowledge Download, there's a time and place for Gold and Prismatic, but pretty much it's too niche for me to explain exactly when you want to be taking this. And even like if you see any streamer taking it, they're not going to be particularly happy about taking these because they're just not that good. And then finally, the 4-2 ones. Okay, this is actually one of the reasons you should be picking Asol, and it's not because you're going to be picking these every single time they're offered on 4-2, but it's just if you're in a spot to go level 8 or level 9, pretty much like these augments will kind of like help you get there really. It'll probably just like pretty much just smooth out your curve. Oftentimes like you need this extra extra, for example, like 36 or 48 gold just to like make it to 9 with like just above 30 to 40 gold, so you can start rolling for your board. Obviously at that point in the game, you're going to be pretty low HP just because you've been sacking for most of the game, collecting econ just so that you can go 9. So like these are definitely all 3 of these are worth taking in certain scenarios, especially the golden prismatic. If you're like on your way to 9 and you've already committed to going 9, these are going to be really useful. But just once again, I caution you against playing Asol just because it's a really high risk playstyle. I played a lot of it and I do think it is really quite good, and it's just really fun actually as well to play fast 9 every game, but just be careful. And then as for the silver and gold, oftentimes when you take these, the main reason will be just because the other 4 you've been offered are pretty bad. So these 2, if you take them, don't think of taking them and being able to immediately go level 9 and level 10. Oftentimes, if you take these 2 without high rolling, most of the time you're really just going to be looking for like a fast 8 for the most part. Fast 7 with these 2 pretty much would mean that, I don't know, like you really don't want to be fast 7ing with these 2 because you can fast 7 like already. So like taking econ augment to fast 7, it's like especially one that only gives EXP instead of gold, which obviously gold compounds on itself whereas EXP doesn't. These aren't going to be that good. So yeah, if you're taking these, you generally want to be fast 8. Sometimes you can fast 9 if you like get into a certain spot, start high rolling. Maybe you hit like hedge fund 3-2, for example, or like, I don't know, you're just win streaking, then you can take these in fast 9. But for the most part, these are not that reliable for going 9 with. And then next up, we have Master Yi. So this is one that's favored like really heavily for the reroll comps. And most of the time, the way Master Yi works is you're really going to be taking like the 2-1 and the 3-2. I've noticed that on 4-2, like none of these are actually useful. So I would just pretty much ignore these. But these 2, especially when you're playing reroll comps such as like Zed, such as Kale, are going to be really strong, such as Tristana. You just want to take these and then take this just because they're both really strong combat augments. And then by the time you hit your 3 stars, you're just going to have like 2 combat augment up on a lot of people. And these are like among the best combat augments just because they give your entire team stats, especially battle ready. Once again, it's really good for your tanks and it's really good for your carries just because your team's taking less damage, your team's dealing more damage. Pretty much as in terms of a generic battle augment, nothing beats battle ready. So yeah, these 2 are really good. And that's Master Yi in a nutshell. He's pretty simple, I think. Like you can still play like non-reroll comps with it, but I think for the most part, people taking Master Yi are favoring the reroll comps. But the main one they're looking at is just to take this battle ready pretty much every time. Even after the nerfs, it's going to be really strong. And then finally, I guess I'll talk about Vlad. I've talked about this legend so many times. Pretty much in every video I'm talking about Vlad, just because he's always pretty consistently good. It doesn't fit my playstyle, so personally I'll never pick it. But oftentimes you just are really just looking to lose streak by taking one of the 2-1 augments. The problem is the silver is actually really bad, as in like it pretty much does nothing. And the gold and prismatic are good, especially the prismatic is really strong. But yeah, the silver being like untakeable, borderline is pretty bad for Vladimir. But for the most part, you're just looking to like lose streak a little bit and then spike on level 6 or 7, depending on like what type of comp you're playing. Obviously, a lot of reroll comps are spiking at 6. A lot of like fast 7 comps naturally spike at 7. So yeah, you just want to be playing around this golden prismatic 2-1. And then on 3-2, same thing, you're getting battle ready again. Just pretty much take this every time. Pretty much can't go wrong. And then final ascension, or all the ascensions are reasonable. They're not that bad, but like they're also not that great. So I think only the prismatic one is like really strong just because like it gives like a lot of value even without waiting to 15 seconds. Obviously the gold and prismatic ones, or sorry, gold and silver ones, you actually have to wait until 15 seconds for it to actually do something. I think the silver one's really reasonable just because silver 4-2, most of them aren't going to be combat augments, and this is a combat augment, so on 4-2, if you're taking partial ascension, you're going to be doing fine. And I guess I will talk about Veigar and Urf real quick as well. Urf hasn't really changed. You're still pretty much playing for 2-1. You just need to tailor your tone properly. Branching out is like pretty strong if you're willing to play a bunch of different comps, but for beginners, once again, I would not recommend playing Urf in general, but also like especially if you are a beginner and you're playing Urf, don't take the silver. It's a little bit too pretty much you need to know too many lines, and with certain lines not being that strong right now, this is probably not that good. Whereas at the very least, tome gives you like options to choose from, so you can never like low roll that hard most of the time. Obviously you still can, but it's not the easiest, and it's still like the 3 gold is relevant. The 3-2 got nerfed really hard as a result of Ezreal. Like obviously these I actually think the client does not reflect the nerf numbers. I believe it got nerfed to like 6, 10, and 10 or something. I don't know, 6. I don't know what it got nerfed to, but I know the gold on the client, these pictures, is not actually correct. So yeah, these got nerfed. They're not nearly as strong as they used to be, but they're still definitely like pretty good. So if you feel like you need your gold to like smooth out your curve on 3-2 and you're playing Urf, feel free to take these. And then final grab bag, kind of mid, honestly. Same thing as like, I guess like I previously said in the past, where on 4-2 you're ideally looking for combat augments. Naturally, like none of these are untakeable. Like obviously sometimes you need a spatula to finish off a fawn or like a key spat, like maybe Slayer spat or Noxus spat if you're playing around those comps. But for the most part, these are not going to be that good. So if you made it to 4-2 with Urf, you're going to be looking for the other augments that you're offered. And then finally I have Veigar. So this one is probably one of the strongest ones, except for the fact that I'm pretty sure the 2-1 silver and 2-1 gold are both bugged. So it says 25% here. It should be 50%. It's currently bugged just for Veigar. So if you take Jewel Lotus 1 on a non-Veigar, pretty much like you get offered it and you take it, and you're not playing Veigar, it is worth taking. It's a really strong augment, but just like this bugged version is not worth taking. I believe Jewel Lotus 2 is also bugged, it should be 15%. Not sure on that, but Jewel Lotus 2 in general is just not a really good augment, so not very good. Prismatic is really quite strong. I don't know, there's not too much to say about these. They're just generically giving your team a good amount of damage. You shouldn't be building IE and JG once you've taken Jewel Lotus, because IE and JG allow your team to crit, and allows 1 unit to crit, and these augments allow these 2 augments specifically, Gold and Prismatic, allow your entire team to crit. So why would you want IE and JG, right? It's just, you're just doubling up on something that you don't want. 3-2, pretty much, take these all the time. They're really strong. If you're playing Veigar, you're pretty much playing for 3-2 right now. Skip 2-1 because it's bugged. The thing is, even though it's bugged, playing Veigar is still reasonable, just because you can just skip silver gold, and then always take the 3-2 augment. You can take the 2-1 Prismatic a decent amount of the time. Obviously, sometimes there's going to be better ones. And then you always take the 3-2 no matter what. And then sometimes you take the 4-2, same with Vlad, right? Same idea. I actually think I'm going to be trying out Veigar a little bit myself, especially after they fix the bug. But I mean, yeah, right now I'm still playing Ornn. I think Veigar is actually really quite strong, but you just have to make sure you don't take these 2. So, and once again, it's a pretty straightforward playstyle because you can always take the 3-2 in every circumstance. This tiny power augment is just really strong. And 4-2 is just, once again, same with Vlad. Always going to be pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty much the video. There's not like, as of right now, we can't find like a legend that just like feels blatantly stronger than the other ones. You'll find a lot of people are playing Ornn for the consistency, myself included. A lot of people are playing Vlad for the open 4 playstyle. It also is really consistent because like if you can play the same playstyle every game, it's really valuable. A lot of people are just playing Poro, which just means no legend. So if that tells you anything, it's that like a lot of the legends are pretty balanced. Yeah, so that's the video. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments. I'll try to get to them. And if you like my content, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow my Twitch, also at guubums. And yeah, I'll see you around.